Have you ever watched a woman's entire life shatter? Not from an accident, but from the truth? At a glittering Beverly Hills gala, a champagne glass breaks, and with it, Grace Sullivan's illusion of a perfect marriage. In front of 500 guests, her powerful husband humiliates her. But that's only the beginning. What follows is betrayal, exposure, and a shocking $10 million twist that turns every head in the room. But this isn't just a story of heartbreak. It's the story of a woman who falls and rises higher than anyone ever expected. A story of strength, revenge, and rebirth, where every crack becomes the light that sets her free. So stay until the end, Diti, because you'll want to see how Grace turns her pain into power. If you believe in second chances, in justice, and in women reclaiming their worth, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, because this is just the beginning of stories that remind us. Breaking doesn't mean broken. The champagne flute shattered, crystal fragments scattered across marble like her composure, each piece catching the light from 1,000 overhead chandeliers. Grace Sullivan stood frozen on the Beverly Hills Grand Ballroom stage, 7 months pregnant, her emerald maternity gown flowing around her swollen belly like a security blanket that offered no security at all. 500 guests in tuxedos and designer gowns stared up at her, waiting, expecting, judging. Her husband's laugh cut through the silence. "You're embarrassing yourself, Grace." Again. Marcus Sullivan's voice carried. He made sure it carried. Made sure the microphone on the podium caught every syllable of his contempt. Made sure everyone at table 3 heard him clearly. Made sure the whole room understood exactly what he thought of his pregnant wife attempting to speak in public. Grace's throat closed. That tight, choking feeling. The one that comes right before tears. The one you fight in public. Lock. Swallow. Breathe. Don't cry. Don't cry. Don't cry. Her hand moved instinctively to protect her belly. The baby kicked hard against her palm, as if sensing her mother's distress. 7 months of life growing inside her, and already this little girl knew when something was wrong. "I was saying," Grace's voice cracked slightly. She cleared her throat. Tried again. "I was saying that maternal mortality in underserved communities remains one of our greatest preventable tragedies." More whispers rippled through the crowd, not about her speech, about what Marcus had just said, about the way he'd said it, about the fact that he'd said it at all. Grace could feel their eyes, pity, judgment, curiosity, that terrible cocktail of emotions that people serve when they witness someone else's humiliation and feel both superior and grateful it's not happening to them. The lights were too bright, the room too warm, her dress too tight across her ribs. The baby kicked again, harder this time. She tried to focus on her note cards, the statistics she'd spent weeks compiling, the stories of women saved by programs like the Maternal Health Initiative. The reason she was standing here at all, but all she could hear was Marcus's laugh. All she could see was his smirk. All she could feel was shame burning through her body like acid. "The Maternal Health Initiative has saved 17 lives this year alone," she continued, her voice steadier now, stronger. She would finish this speech if it killed her. 17 mothers who went home to their children. 17 families that remained intact. 17 futures that remained possible. Someone coughed. Cutlery clinked against china. A woman at table 7 checked her phone, the screen glowing bright in the dimmed ballroom. Grace pushed forward. "With your continued support, we can expand our services to 3 additional counties. We can save more lives. We can ensure that no woman dies simply because she cannot afford proper prenatal care." She looked out at the crowd. 500 faces, some attentive, some bored, some genuinely moved. And at table 3, her husband, looking at his phone, not even pretending to listen, not even bothering to fake interest in the cause she'd dedicated her career to before he had convinced her to quit her job 6 months into their marriage. "Thank you," Grace said quietly. "Thank you for your time and your generosity." Applause, polite, scattered. The kind of applause that says, "Glad that's over," more than "well done." Grace stepped away from the podium on shaking legs. Her heels clicked against the stage floor. 1 step, 2, 3, almost to the stairs. Helena Winters, the gala organizer and Grace's former mentor, met her at the bottom. Silver hair and a perfect chignon. Elegant, poised, concerned. "Grace, honey, are you okay?" Grace nodded, lying, obviously lying. "I'm fine, just pregnancy nerves." What Marcus said was completely inappropriate. He was joking, you know how he is. But Helena's expression said she knew exactly how Marcus was, had known for 2 years, had watched Grace change from the confident, brilliant woman she'd hired 5 years ago into this apologetic, diminished version who made excuses for a man who didn't deserve them. "Grace, I need to use the restroom. Excuse me." Grace walked. Fast. Too fast for a woman 7 months pregnant. Past the tables. Past the staring faces. Past Marcus, who didn't even look up from his phone. Past the silent judgment and the whispered sympathy. She pushed through the heavy door to the ladies' room, the marble floor cold beneath her feet. Her reflection in the ornate mirror showed exactly what she felt. Exhausted, humiliated, defeated. She sank onto the floor, designer gown pooling around her, tiles cold through silk fabric, the marble pressed against her spine. She counted breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The baby hiccuped inside her, tiny rhythmic movements. "I'm sorry," Grace whispered to her belly. "I'm so sorry you have to have a father like him." The door opened. Beth Morrison, Grace's best friend since college, rushed in. 31 years old, graphic designer, fiercely loyal, currently looking like she wanted to murder Marcus with her bare hands. "Gracie." Beth knelt beside her best friend, designer dress and marble floor be damned. "He's done this before," Grace said, her voice flat, dead. "I just kept making excuses." "What do you mean?" "Last month, the doctor's appointment. He said I was being dramatic about the back pain in front of Nurse Sarah. She looked so uncomfortable." "That's not okay, Grace." 2 weeks before that, the baby shower mom's friends threw. He complained the entire time, said I was milking the pregnancy for attention. For attention, Beth, like growing a human being is some kind of performance art. Beth grabbed her hand, squeezed. "This morning," Grace continued, the words spilling out now, months of silence breaking. "He told me the dress made me look huge. Said other women manage to look elegant while pregnant. Manage. Like pregnancy is something to be managed. Like I'm failing at it. Grace, yesterday he told me discussing paint colors for the nursery was obsessive. Last week he was on the phone with his mother saying I'm too emotional lately, that I don't need therapy, just pregnancy hormones. I was standing right there, Beth. He looked at me while he said it." The door opened again. 3 women entered, saw Grace on the floor, saw Beth kneeling beside her. Their expressions shifted from surprise to recognition to that terrible pity. They left quickly, but not before Grace saw them pull out their phones. This was going to be all over social media by morning. Beth helped Grace to her feet. "You don't have to go back out there." "Yes, I do. Helena worked so hard on this event. I can't let her down." "Marcus already let everyone down." Grace checked her reflection. Mascara slightly smudged. She fixed it, applied lipstick, straightened her dress, built her armor back up, piece by piece, smile by smile, lie by lie. "I'm fine. You keep saying that. Because I have to be fine. I have a baby coming in 2 months. I have to be fine." But they both knew fine was the biggest lie of all. Grace and Beth returned to the ballroom. Chin up, shoulders back, fake smile plastered on. The show must go on. The performance of normalcy must continue. Helena Winters stood at the podium again. The program continuing. Auction items displayed on screens, donations pledged, money raised for a good cause. Then Helena's expression changed. Surprise, delight, excitement. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have an extraordinary announcement." The room quieted, expectant. "Mr. Ethan Blackwood of Blackwood Technologies has just pledged $10 million to the Maternal Health Initiative." Gasp echoed through the ballroom. Someone dropped a glass. It shattered. Another echo of Grace's earlier moment. Another breaking. The spotlight swung to table 12. Ethan Blackwood stood, tall, confident, dark navy suit perfectly tailored, Gray eyes that had haunted Grace's dreams for 5 years. Grace couldn't breathe. Her vision tunneled. Her pulse roared in her ears. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The baby kicked, hard, insistent. Beth's hand steadied her elbow. Is that? Beth whispered. Yes. Ethan walked to the stage. Measured steps. Purposeful. He took the microphone from Helena. Thank you, Helena. His voice, that voice, deep, calm, commanding. The voice that used to whisper, I love you in the dark. I'm making this donation in honor of someone who dedicated her life to this cause. Someone whose voice deserves to be heard. Respected. Celebrated. His eyes found Grace across the crowded ballroom, held her gaze. Someone who understands that maternal health isn't just policy. It's personal. It's life and death. It matters. Pause, deliberate, meaningful. This donation is for her, for the work she's doing, for the lives she's saving. The room erupted. Applause, cheers, phones out recording, women dabbing eyes, men nodding approval. Grace stood frozen, unable to move, unable to think, unable to process what was happening. At table 3, Marcus's face turned red, then white. His neck veins bulged. He gripped his whiskey glass so tight his knuckles went white. Vivian Hartley sat beside him, too close, her hand on his forearm. Familiar, intimate, the gesture of someone who had every right to touch him. Marcus shook her off, angry. This is bullshit, he muttered. But the man at the next table heard, turned, stared. James Blackwood, Ethan's father, sat at the VIP table. 65 years old, distinguished. Proud, he smiled at his son. The kind of smile fathers give when their children exceed all expectations. Diane Sullivan sat rigid at table 5. Marcus's mother, 62 years old, cold, disapproving, not of Marcus's outburst, of Grace, for somehow causing this scene, for drawing attention, for embarrassing the family. Ethan descended from the stage. He walked toward Grace, not running, not rushing, but purposeful, intentional. Marcus stood abruptly, his chair scraped against marble. He stormed across the ballroom from the opposite direction. They reached Grace simultaneously. Marcus grabbed Grace's elbow, his fingers dug into her skin. Too tight, painful. We're leaving, now. Ethan's voice cut through the tension. I don't think the lady wants to leave. Marcus turned, his face inches from Ethan's. This is none of your business, Blackwood. Donating $10 million to her cause makes it my business, Sullivan. Noble, real noble. Except we both know why you're really here. Marcus, Grace tried to pull away. Let go, you're hurting me. He didn't let go. If anything, his grip tightened. Ethan stepped closer, his voice dropped. Dangerous. You heard her, let go. The crowd pressed in, phones raised, recording everything. This moment would be viral by midnight, dissected by strangers, judged by millions. Grace's humiliation served up for public consumption. Helena Winters approached quickly. Gentlemen, please, this is a charity event. Vivian Hartley materialized beside Marcus, nervous, fidgeting, 28 years old but looked younger. Thin, blonde, beautiful in that generic, forgettable way. Designer dress that cost more than most people's rent. Marcus, we should go. Grace's head snapped toward her. Something in the way Vivian said we. Something possessive, familiar, wrong. Wait, Grace's voice quiet, deadly quiet. Why is your assistant here as your +1? Silence. Terrible. Confirming silence. Marcus's jaw tightened, a muscle jumped in his cheek. Beth appeared beside Grace. Her eyes widened as she looked at Vivian, at her wrist specifically. Oh my God, Grace! Look at her wrist! Vivian wore a bracelet, distinctive, unmistakable, custom-made Cartier. 3 carats of diamonds set in interlocking circles. Anniversary gift from Marcus, or so Grace had thought. Grace's hand flew to her own wrist, empty, bare. The bracelet that had gone missing 3 months ago. The bracelet Marcus said was at the jeweler for repair. The bracelet she'd asked about a dozen times. That's mine. The crowd pressed closer, sensing blood in the water. This was better than any scripted drama. This was real. raw, devastating. The bracelet you said was at the jeweler for repair, Grace continued, her voice steady, ice cold. You gave my bracelet to her. Marcus's mask slipped, just for a second, but Grace saw it. Everyone saw it. The guilt, the anger at being caught, the calculation of how to spin this. You're being hysterical. Pregnancy hormones. You don't know what you're talking about. The baby just kicked. Grace's hand on her belly. Right now, this baby, our baby, and you're standing here defending why your assistant is wearing my jewelry. Vivian? Ethan's voice cut through, calm, authoritative. When did he give you that bracelet? Vivian's face went pale. Her eyes darted between Marcus and Grace, between the man she was sleeping with and the wife he'd betrayed. Marcus, I can't answer her, Tamamu, Ethan said quietly. 2 months ago, for my birthday. Grace's brain calculated. Math she didn't want to do, but couldn't avoid. My bracelet went missing 3 months ago. You gave it to her for her birthday. Her birthday was in August. We were in Hawaii for our anniversary in August. The gasps were audible now, the crowd no longer pretending to give them privacy. This was theater, entertainment, someone else's tragedy served up for their consumption. You gave her my bracelet while we were celebrating our anniversary. Marcus said nothing, his silence more damning than any confession. Diane Sullivan stood, her face rigid with fury, but not at Marcus, at Grace, for making a scene, for embarrassing the family, for not handling this privately like a proper Sullivan wife should. James Blackwood remained seated, watching, his expression unreadable, but his hand rested on the table in a tight fist. Fine. Marcus's voice harsh, angry, the mask completely gone now. Yes. Are you happy now? Yes. Vivian and I are together. Yes. I gave her the bracelet because she appreciates it. She appreciates me. Unlike you. The words hit like physical blows. Grace felt each one, absorbed each one, let them cut deep. But something strange happened, something unexpected. The cutting stopped hurting. Because in that moment, standing in front of 500 people, her husband's mistress wearing her jewelry, her belly swollen with a child whose father just admitted to cheating throughout her entire pregnancy, Grace felt something she hadn't felt in 2 years. Clarity, crystal clear, sharp-edged, undeniable clarity. She looked at Marcus, really looked at him, saw him for exactly what he was. A stranger, a man she'd never really known, a performance she'd mistaken for a person. Grace stepped back, away from Marcus, away from Ethan, away from Vivian, away from all of it. I'm leaving. Grace, don't make a scene. Her laugh cut through the room like broken glass, sharp, brittle, real. Make a scene? She looked around, at the phones recording, at the 500 faces watching, at the pity and the excitement and the judgment. You already did that for me. You humiliated me from the podium. You gave my jewelry to your mistress. You admitted your affair in front of 500 people. Her voice carried, clear, strong, not shaking, not apologizing. I didn't make this scene, Marcus. You did. I'm just leaving it. She walked through the ballroom, past the staring faces, past the recording phones, past Helena's concerned expression, past Diane's disapproving glare, past the whispers that would follow her for weeks, out into the cold January night. The Los Angeles winter air hit her face. Cool, clean, eucalyptus from nearby trees, jasmine from the garden, her breath visible in small clouds. The baby kicked again, strong, healthy, alive, fighting. Grace's heels clicked on pavement. Click, click, click. The sound of a woman walking away from the wreckage of her marriage with whatever dignity she had left. Behind her, the ballroom erupted. Voices, case, the aftermath of a public implosion. She didn't look back. Gracie, wait, Beth's voice. My car's this way. But another voice called her name. That voice, Grace, the way Ethan Blackwood said her name. Like it mattered. Like she mattered. Like 5 years in a failed marriage and 7 months of pregnancy hadn't changed the fundamental fact that she was someone worth speaking to with respect. She turned. He stood under the lights, hands in pockets, gray eyes filled with something that looked like sorrow, like regret, like the ghost of what they had been haunting the space between them. "You didn't have to do that," Grace said. "Yes, I did. $10 million. I've been following your work. Helena sends me updates, the Maternal Health Initiative. It's brilliant. You're brilliant. You always were." "Ethan, I'm not asking for anything, Grace. I just wanted you to know. Someone sees you. Someone sees the work you're doing. It matters. You matter." Marcus appeared in the doorway, watching, furious, impotent rage radiating from him like heat. Grace pulled Ethan's business card from her clutch. The card Helena had given her months ago. "Just in case," Helena had said. In case of what? Grace hadn't asked. Now she knew. Ethan took it, flipped it over, wrote his personal cell number on the back in neat, precise handwriting. "If you need anything, a lawyer, a place to stay, someone to talk to, anything, call me." She took the card, folded it carefully, put it back in her clutch. "Thank you." She got into Beth's silver Honda Civic, safe, familiar, the car of a normal person living a normal life. Everything Grace's life wasn't. As Beth drove away, Grace watched Ethan in the side mirror. He stood under the lights, watching her leave. The way he'd watched her leave 5 years ago when she'd given him an ultimatum he couldn't meet, and they'd both cried and called it mutual, when really it was just heartbreak. Marcus stormed back inside. The baby kicked, Grace's hand on her belly, on this life growing inside her. This innocent life who deserved better than what she was about to be born into. "Starting over feels impossible," Grace whispered, "but staying feels worse." Beth reached over, squeezed her hand, said nothing. Because what was there to say? Sometimes the truth doesn't need commentary. Sometimes it just needs witness. They drove through Los Angeles. Lights, traffic, life continuing like Grace's world hadn't just shattered on marble floors, while 500 people watched and recorded and would turn her humiliation into content by morning. Grace's phone buzzed. Once, twice, 20 times, text messages flooding in. She turned it off. Whatever came next could wait until tomorrow. Tonight, she just needed to breathe. Beth's apartment was small, 1 bedroom in Culver City. Nothing like the 5 bedroom Spanish colonial in Brentwood that Grace shared with Marcus. But it felt safer, warmer, more like home than that cold, perfect house had ever felt. 2 in the morning. Grace sat on Beth's couch, couldn't sleep. The baby was active, kicking, rolling, making her presence known in that way third trimester babies do, reminding you they're there, that they're real, that everything you do affects them. Grace stood, walked to Beth's bookshelf, started organizing, alphabetically first, fiction separated from nonfiction, then by color, then by height, then by genre. Her hands moved automatically, sorting, stacking, creating order where she had none. Beth appeared in the doorway, wearing flannel pajamas, concerned. "Talk to me, Gracie." I knew. Grace's hands stilled on a book. Romance novel, ironic. Deep down, I knew. She turned to face her best friend. The person who'd known her longer than anyone except her dead mother. The person who'd warned her about Marcus from the beginning. "Last month, I found a receipt in his jacket pocket. I was taking it to the dry cleaner. Hotel, downtown, the Ritz-Carlton, room service for 2, champagne, strawberries, the cliche of it all. Gracie, I convinced myself it was a client meeting. Business dinner that ran late. He works in finance. That's normal, right? Long client dinners, entertainment budgets, building relationships." Beth sat on the couch, patted the cushion beside her. Grace sat, heavily. Pregnancy made everything heavy. 2 weeks ago, late night texts, his phone buzzing at midnight. 1 in the morning, 2, 3, I couldn't sleep. The baby was kicking. I was up anyway. I asked who was texting so late. What did he say? "The Tokyo office. Time zones. Work never sleeps in global finance." Did you believe him? I chose to believe him. There's a difference. Grace pulled out her phone, opened the Notes app, the list she'd been keeping without even realizing she was keeping it. January 15th, Marcus said my pregnancy weight gain was getting out of control, suggested I eat less. I was 4 months pregnant. Doctor said my weight was perfect, but I started skipping meals. Beth's expression hardened. February 3rd, Marcus told Diane I was being overly emotional about nursery preparations. Diane called me high maintenance. I apologized. I apologized for wanting to prepare for my baby. The words kept coming, months of silence breaking like a dam. February 28th, Marcus said my maternity clothes were frumpy, that I'd let myself go. I spent $800 on new clothes I couldn't afford because he controlled the credit cards. Grace, March 10th, the doctor's appointment. The back pain. He told Dr. Reynolds I have a low pain tolerance, made me feel like I was being dramatic. I stopped mentioning pain after that, even when it got worse. That's abuse. Grace flinched. He never hit me. Abuse isn't just physical. Silence. Heavy. Terrible. True. March 24th, Marcus said I was obsessed with the baby, that it was all I talked about. I was 6 months pregnant. What else was I supposed to talk about? But I stopped. Stopped talking about the baby around him. Stopped sharing my excitement. Stopped existing as a person with thoughts and feelings about the life growing inside me. April 2nd, Marcus came home at 4 in the morning. Said he fell asleep at his desk. His shirt smelled like perfume, not mine. I didn't say anything. April 18th, the hotel receipt. April 30th, tonight. Beth grabbed her hand, held tight. You have to leave him. I know. I mean really leave. Not just physically, legally, financially, completely. I know. The baby kicked. Hard. Grace's hand on her belly, on this innocent life who was about to be born into a broken family, who would grow up with divorced parents, who would never know what it's like to have both parents together and happy. If they were ever happy, Grace couldn't remember anymore. Had they been happy, or had she just been good at pretending? I have to protect her, Grace said quietly. Whatever it takes, I have to protect my daughter. Then you know what you need to do. Grace did know. She'd known since Marcus's laugh cut through the ballroom, since Vivian wore her bracelet, since he'd admitted everything in front of 500 people and felt no shame. Only annoyance at being caught. She knew. But knowing and doing were different things. I need to go back to the house, Grace said. Tomorrow, when he's at work, get my documents, important papers, anything I might need. I'm coming with you. Beth, I'm coming with you. You're not going alone. Grace nodded, grateful, terrified, determined. The baby kicked again. Agreement. Tomorrow. Tomorrow she would start taking her life back. Tonight she would try to sleep, try to rest, try to gather strength for what came next. The fight of her life. Grace stood in front of the house. Their house. The Spanish colonial in Brentwood, with the terracotta roof and bougainvillea climbing the walls. $4.2 million. 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, pool, guest house, everything Marcus insisted they needed. Everything Grace had never wanted. She used her key. The door swung open silently. Expensive hinges, expensive everything. Marcus sat at the kitchen island. Marble countertop, white, cold, coffee in a designer mug. Wall Street Journal spread out. Like nothing had happened. Like last night was just another event. Another Tuesday. Finally decided to come home? Grace set down her purse. Designer, gift from Diane. She hated it, had always hated it. Are you sleeping with Vivian? Don't be ridiculous. Answer the question, Marcus. You're being paranoid, hormonal, you're 7 months pregnant. You're not thinking clearly. Something shifted inside Grace, a gear clicking into place, a switch flipping. The version of herself who apologized and smoothed things over and made herself small dying. A new version being born. No, I'm being clear. For the first time in 2 years, answer the question. Her voice different, stronger, not asking, demanding. Marcus looked up from his newspaper, surprised. He wasn't used to this Grace. The one who didn't back down, who didn't apologize, who didn't make his bad behavior her fault. How long? Grace, how long? Her voice echoed through the high ceilings, bounced off the marble and the custom cabinets and the Viking appliances. She'd never yelled before. Not in this house, not in this marriage. She'd always kept her voice down, always been reasonable, always been accommodating, not today. Marcus's face changed. The mask slipped. He wasn't apologetic. He was annoyed, put out, inconvenienced by her reaction to his betrayal. 6 months. The baby kicked, hard, like she heard, like she understood, like she was telling her mother to fight. 6 months. We found out about the pregnancy 7 months ago. So you've been cheating on me our entire pregnancy. Don't be dramatic, Grace. It's unattractive. She stared at him, this man she'd married, this stranger wearing her husband's face. You don't love me, she said. Not a question, a statement, a fact she'd been avoiding for months, maybe years. I never said that. You didn't have to. Your actions said it. Your cruelty said it. The way you treat me said it loud and clear. Marcus stood, walked around the island, invaded her space, a tactic that used to work, used to make her back down, used to make her apologize for upsetting him. Not today. You changed, Grace, after we got married. You stopped being fun, stopped caring about your appearance, and then the pregnancy. God, the pregnancy. It's all you talk about, all you think about, all you are. I'm growing a human being. You're human being. That's the problem. It's all you are now. The nursery, the baby names, the birth plan, the parenting books, the constant doctor's appointments. It's suffocating. Grace felt something crack. Not her heart. That had cracked months ago. Something else. Something deeper. Her fundamental understanding of this man. Of this marriage. Of everything she'd believed. You don't want this baby. Silence. Terrible, confirming silence. The kind that says more than words ever could. I never said that. You didn't have to. Your face just said it. Marcus turned away, poured more coffee, his hand steady. No shame, no guilt, just irritation that they were having this conversation at all. Vivian gets me, he said, his back to her. Coward. She cares about my career, my goals, my needs. She doesn't make everything about a baby that isn't even born yet. That baby is your daughter. That baby is 9 months of hell, then 18 years of responsibility I didn't sign up for. You proposed to me. You married me. You knew I wanted children. Because you gave me an ultimatum. He spun around, angry now. Just like with your ex, marriage or nothing. So I chose marriage, to make you happy, to get you to stop pushing. The words hit like physical blows, but Grace stood her ground, absorbed them, used them, let them fuel the anger growing inside of him. You married me because I pressured you? I married you because you were beautiful and accomplished and made me look good. Because you had that job at the nonprofit. Because you came from a good family despite your mother dying. Because my mother approved for once in my life. So you never loved me. I loved the idea of you. The Grace who went to galas and smiled and looked perfect on my arm. The Grace who worked 60-hour weeks and never complained. The Grace who was independent and driven. Not this version. Not the pregnant, needy, obsessive version who can't talk about anything except babies and nurseries and birth plans. Grace's hand rested on her belly, on her daughter. This innocent life who was listening to her father reject her before she was even born. Get out, Grace said quietly. What? Get out of this house, now. This is my house. No, this is our house, community property, California law, and I'm 7 months pregnant. Get out before I call the police and tell them you're threatening me. Marcus's expression shifted. Surprise, disbelief, then calculation. He was weighing his options, deciding if she was bluffing. She wasn't bluffing. You can't kick me out of my own house. Watch me. Get out. Go to Vivian's apartment. I'm sure she'll be thrilled to have you full-time instead of just when you're cheating on your pregnant wife. Marcus grabbed his jacket from the hook by the door, his keys, his wallet, his phone that never stopped buzzing with messages from the woman who'd been sleeping with him for 6 months. You'll regret this, he said. The only thing I regret is marrying you. He slammed the door. The sound echoed through the empty house. Tires screeched in the driveway. Too fast. Reckless. Angry. Grace sank to the kitchen floor. Tiles cold beneath her back against the island cabinet, her hands on her belly, on her daughter, on the future they would build together. Alone, why? But alone was better than this. Alone was better than being with someone who made her feel invisible, unimportant, wrong. The baby kicked, strong, insistent, alive. You're right, Grace whispered. We're going to be okay. We're going to be better than okay. She didn't cry. The tears wouldn't come. She was past crying, past mourning something that had never really existed. She felt something else, something unexpected. Relief, Grace packed methodically. Years of nonprofit project management had taught her to be organized, thorough, strategic. Beth helped. They worked room by room. Important documents first, Beth said. What do you absolutely need? Grace went to the home office. Marcus's domain, mahogany desk, leather chair, diplomas on the wall, Stanford, Harvard Business School, proof of his intelligence that he wore like armor. She opened the file cabinet, found what she needed: birth certificate, social security card, passport, medical records, insurance information, marriage certificate, the deed to the house, bank statements, tax returns, Marcus's investment portfolio. Take photos of everything, Beth advised, even if you take the originals. Have backups. Grace photographed every document, uploaded them to a new cloud account Marcus didn't know about, protected with a password he'd never guess. They moved to the bedroom. Grace packed clothes, maternity wear, comfortable things, everything she'd need for the next 2 months of the pregnancy and the months after. Her jewelry box sat on the dresser. She opened it. Most of it gifts from Marcus, expensive, impersonal, chosen by Diane probably, not by him. She left it all, except one necklace, her mother's. Simple gold chain with a small pendant, the only thing she had left from the woman who died 5 years ago, who'd never met Marcus, who would have hated him. Mom would tell me to be smart, Grace said quietly, to protect myself, to stop setting myself on fire to keep others warm. Beth hugged her, careful of the belly, of the baby between them. The nursery made Grace cry. Finally, the tears came, soft yellow walls. They'd painted them together 2 months ago, Marcus complaining the entire time. But she'd insisted. She'd wanted this room perfect. White crib, changing table, rocking chair, tiny clothes folded in drawers, diapers stacked, blankets soft and new. A room for a baby who would never live in this house, who would never know what it was like to have both parents under one roof. We'll make a new nursery, Beth said. At my place, even better. You'll see. Grace nodded, not trusting her voice. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She let it go to voicemail. Then it rang again. Same number. Answer it, Beth said. Might be important. Grace answered. Hello? Grace, it's Bobby. Bobby Sullivan, please don't hang up. Marcus's brother, the only member of the Sullivan family Grace had ever liked. Surgeon, smart, kind, nothing like his younger brother. What do you want, Bobby? To apologize. For my brother, for my mother, for not saying something sooner when I should have. You knew? About Vivian? Yes. I saw them together 3 months ago. Restaurant in Manhattan Beach. They didn't see me, but I saw them. And I knew. Why didn't you tell me? Because I'm a coward. Because I told myself it wasn't my place. Because I convinced myself Marcus would end it on his own. I was wrong. I'm sorry, Grace. I'm so sorry. Grace sat in the rocking chair, the one she'd imagined nursing her daughter in, reading bedtime stories, creating memories that would never happen now. Why are you calling now? Because I'm a surgeon. I've seen what stress does to pregnant women. Preeclampsia, preterm labor, complications that can kill. And because you're good people, Grace, you didn't deserve this. My brother is an idiot, a cruel, selfish idiot. Will you testify in the divorce? Long pause. Grace could hear him breathing, could hear the weight of what she was asking. Yes, If you need me to. Yes, I'll testify against my own brother if it means you and that baby are protected. Thank you. One more thing you need to know. Mom's trust fund, the one Marcus thinks he's getting when she dies. The $20 million trust? It's conditional, written right into the trust documents. Grandfather set it up that way. Marcus only gets it if he maintains a successful marriage for at least 20 years. He's on year 2. Grace's mind spun. He married me for money? Partly, and for Mom's approval. She only respects traditional values, marriage, family, the appearance of stability. Marcus has spent his whole life trying to earn her approval, trying to be the son she wanted instead of the son he is. So I was a prop. I'm sorry, Grace, you deserve better. You deserve better. After Bobby hung up, Grace sat in the nursery, in the rocking chair, in the room that represented everything she'd hoped for, everything she'd lost before she ever really had it. Beth appeared in the doorway. What did he say? Grace told her. All of it. The affair Bobby had witnessed, the trust fund, the conditional inheritance, the marriage built on lies and convenience, and the desperate need for maternal approval. He never loved you, Beth said. No. He loved the idea of what I could give him. Respectability, his mother's approval, access to money, a prop for his performance of normalcy. What are you going to do? Grace stood, gathered the baby clothes she'd folded so carefully, the blankets she'd chosen so thoughtfully, the stuffed animals waiting for a little girl who would live somewhere else now. I'm going to fight. I'm going to get a lawyer, the best lawyer money can buy, and I'm going to make sure my daughter and I are protected, financially, legally, completely. Good. But first I need to do something. Grace pulled Ethan's business card from her purse, the one with his personal number written on the back in neat handwriting. She called. He answered on the second ring. Grace, just her name, but the way he said it, like he'd been waiting, like he'd known she'd call, like he'd hoped she would. I need that lawyer, she said, the one you mentioned, the best divorce attorney in California. Rebecca Foster. I'll text you her information right now. Tell her I sent you. She'll take your case. Thank you. Grace, you're going to be okay. You and your daughter. You're both going to be okay. After she hung up, Grace looked around the house. This beautiful, cold, perfect house that had never been a home, that had never felt safe, that had always felt like a stage set for someone else's life. She was leaving it, leaving him, leaving the lies she'd been living. And she was taking her daughter with her into a better future, whatever that looked like. Rebecca Foster's office overlooked Marina del Rey. 10th floor, floor-to-ceiling windows, boats bobbing in the water below, expensive art on the walls, leather chairs, the aesthetic of success. Rebecca herself was 52 years old, gray bob haircut, sharp, tailored navy suit, intelligent brown eyes behind designer glasses. She stood when Grace entered, shook her hand with a firm grip. Grace Sullivan, Ethan speaks very highly of you. Please sit. Can I get you water? Tea? Water, please. Rebecca poured from a glass pitcher. Ice cubes clinked. She handed Grace the glass and sat behind her desk. Professional, focused, ready. Tell me everything. Start from the beginning. Grace did. 2 hours worth. The courtship, the whirlwind romance, the wedding after 4 months, the changes after marriage. Marcus insisting she quit her job, controlling the finances, the criticism, the isolation, the dismissiveness, the pregnancy, the escalation, the affair, the gala, the public humiliation, the confrontation. Rebecca took notes, asked pointed questions. Her face remained neutral, professional, but Grace saw the tightening around her eyes, the slight press of her lips, the anger of a woman who'd seen this story too many times. Did you work before marriage? Yes, Director of Development at the Maternal Health Initiative. Salary $65,000 a year. I quit 6 months after the wedding. Marcus said I didn't need to work, that his income was enough, that having a working wife made him look like he couldn't provide. Whose name is on the house? Both of ours, joint ownership, but he made the down payment from his accounts. He reminds me of that regularly. Bank accounts? Joint checking and savings. But Marcus has a separate investment account I don't have access to. He says it's for business, for his career, that I wouldn't understand it. Proof of the affair? Vivian wearing my bracelet, witnessed by 500 people. On video, the video has 8 million views now, plus his admission on camera, plus text message screenshots I took before I left, plus hotel receipts I found, plus credit card statements showing purchases that I didn't make. Rebecca smiled, sharp, satisfied. You're smart. That helps tremendously. Bobby Sullivan, Marcus's brother, witnessed them together 3 months ago. He's willing to testify. Even better. And there's a trust fund, $20 million, conditional on Marcus maintaining a successful marriage for 20 years. He's at year 2. Rebecca's smile widened. Now we're talking. He has significant financial motivation to fight this divorce, to make you look unstable, to convince a judge you're unfit, to delay proceedings until he can hit that 20-year mark. What do I do? We go hard, we go fast, we document everything, and we win. Rebecca pulled out a legal pad, started outlining strategy. California is a community property state. Everything acquired during marriage gets split 50-50. The house, the cars, his retirement accounts, his investment accounts, even that separate account he thinks is his alone. Everything. What about the baby? You're the mother. You're carrying her. You'll be the primary caregiver. California law heavily favors maternal custody, especially with documented evidence of emotional abuse and infidelity during pregnancy. Is what he did enough? He never hit me. Emotional abuse is abuse. Financial control is abuse. Isolation is abuse. Public humiliation is abuse. And we have all of it documented, the videos, your testimony, Bobby's testimony. We have more than enough. Grace felt something loosen in her chest. Hope, fragile but real. What's the timeline? Normally I'd say wait until after the birth, but given the publicity, given his affair partner working in his office, given the trust fund motivation, I think we file now. You're 30 weeks. Far enough along that stress shouldn't cause preterm labor if we're careful. We file, we serve him at his office, and we move fast before he can hide assets or build a defense. When? Next week. I need a few days to prepare the paperwork, to gather all your documentation, to build our case, but next week we file. Rebecca leaned forward. Her expression softened slightly, still professional but with an edge of something else. Understanding. Solidarity. Grace, I've been doing this for 28 years. I've seen hundreds of divorces, thousands, and I can tell you with absolute certainty that you're doing the right thing. This man doesn't deserve you. He never did. And your daughter deserves to grow up watching her mother be strong, be independent, be happy. Grace's eyes burned. She blinked hard, refused to cry in front of this woman who was all business and sharp edges, and exactly what Grace needed. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Thank me when we're out and you're free and financially secure. As Grace left the office, her phone buzzed. Text message from an unknown number. This is Ethan. How did it go with Rebecca? Grace typed back. Good, really good. Thank you for the referral. Anytime. How are you doing? She paused, considered the question. How was she doing? Terrified, exhausted. 7 months pregnant and facing a divorce from a man who was about to make her life hell. Living with her best friend. Unemployed. Dependent on charity and the kindness of people who owed her nothing. But also free for the first time in 2 years free. I'm okay, she typed, taking it one day at a time. If you need anything, seriously, anything, don't hesitate. She didn't respond, didn't know what to say. This man who'd loved her once, who'd let her go because neither of them had been ready, who'd become wildly successful while she'd married the wrong person for the wrong reasons. This man who'd just given $10 million to her cause, who'd connected her with the best divorce lawyer in California, who was offering help with no strings attached. She didn't know what to do with kindness anymore, had forgotten what it felt like to have someone on her side with no agenda, no manipulation, no control. It felt strange. It felt like hope. Grace's phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Calls, texts, emails, social media notifications, all because of the video. Someone had posted it, multiple someones, multiple angles. The Gala confrontation from every perspective. Grace's humiliation served up for public consumption. Her pain turned into content. Beth found her sitting on the couch, staring at her phone, scrolling through comments. "Stop reading those," Beth said, gently but firmly. She took the phone. "They're talking about me to millions of people, strangers. They're dissecting my marriage, my life, making judgments based on 90 seconds of video." "What are they saying?" Grace recited from memory. "That husband is absolute trash. Billionaire X coming through like a pishit. She deserves so much better, the way she walked out with ear head high, queen behavior. I hope she takes him for everything in the divorce. That ex-boyfriend still loves her, you can see it." Those all sound supportive. There are other comments too, saying I'm a gold digger, that I trapped Marcus with a pregnancy, that I probably cheated with Ethan, that I'm playing victim when really I'm manipulative, that my husband wouldn't have strayed if I'd taken better care of myself during pregnancy. Beth's expression hardened. "Those people are garbage. Ignore them." "How? How do I ignore millions of people having opinions about my life?" "By remembering they don't know you. They don't know Marcus. They don't know what happened behind closed doors. They saw 90 seconds. You lived 2 years. Grace's phone rang. Beth's phone, technically, but Grace's number forwarded to it. "Hello? Grace Sullivan?" A woman's voice. Professional, friendly. "Yes?" "This is Jennifer Martinez from Good Morning America. We'd love to have you on the show to tell your side of the story. Exclusive interview. We can offer—" Grace hung up. The phone rang again. Different number. "Don't answer it," Beth said, but curiosity won. Grace answered. "Miss Sullivan, this is David Clark from the Los Angeles Times. We're running a piece on narcissistic abuse in high-profile marriages. Your story really resonates with our readers. Would you be willing to—" Grace hung up again. "They want a story," she said. "They don't care about me. They want content, entertainment, a morality play they can consume and judge and move on from." "Then don't give it to them." Grace's email dinged. Subject line, "Thinking of you." From Helena Winters. Grace opened it. "Dear Grace, I hope you're doing as well as can be expected. I wanted you to know that your job is still here. Whenever you're ready, the Maternal Health Initiative needs you. With Ethan's donation, we're expanding to 5 cities. I can't do this without you, part-time, full-time, whatever works with the baby. The position is yours. You built this program. Come back and help me grow it. Love, Helena." Grace read it 3 times, absorbed every word. A job, her old job, the work she loved, the work she'd abandoned because Marcus said she didn't need to work. Financial independence, purpose, a future that didn't depend on a divorce settlement in Alphonse or anyone's charity. She typed back, "Thank you, yes, after the baby is born, part-time to start, I'd love to come back." Send. Another email arrived, from Ethan. "Grace, I saw the media attention. I'm sorry. If you need help managing it, my PR team is at your disposal. Also, I've set up a legal fund in your name for any expenses related to the divorce, Rebecca's fees, court costs, whatever you need, it's done. Don't argue. Consider it an investment in maternal health advocacy. We need leaders like you. Ethan." Grace stared at the screen. A legal fund. He'd set up a legal fund for her divorce. "What?" Beth asked, reading her expression. Grace showed her the email. "That's tens of thousands of dollars," Beth said. "Maybe hundreds of thousands, depending on how ugly Marcus makes this." "I can't accept it." "Yes, you can. That's pride talking. And pride doesn't pay lawyers." "But, Grace, stop. Let people help you. Let your former mentor give you back your job. Let your ex-boyfriend, who's now a billionaire, help with legal fees. Let me give you a place to stay. Let Bobby testify against his own brother. Let the entire internet drag your soon-to-be ex-husband. Let it all happen. You've spent 2 years making yourself smaller. Stop. Take up space. Accept help. Fight back." The baby kicked. Agreement. Grace typed back to Ethan. Thank you. I don't know what to say, except thank you. This means everything. She added, how are you? Three dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. I'm good. Better knowing you're okay. Or will be okay. That's all I want, Grace, for you to be okay. She didn't respond, didn't know how to respond to such simple kindness. Her phone buzzed again. Text from Rebecca Foster. Papers are ready. We file tomorrow. Are you ready? Grace took a deep breath, felt the weight of her daughter inside her, felt the anger at everything Marcus had done, felt the hope for a different future. She typed, yes, I'm ready. Rebecca Foster didn't do things halfway. She served Marcus the divorce papers herself, personally, at his office during a meeting. With Vivian present, Grace wasn't there. Rebecca insisted she stay away. Let me be the bad guy, she'd said. That's what you pay me for. But Rebecca called her afterward, told her everything. I walked into his office at exactly 10 in the morning. He was in a conference room with 6 colleagues and Vivian, presenting some investment strategy. Very self-important. Grace could picture it. Marcus in his element, commanding, confident, performing competence. I interrupted, said I had urgent documents for Mr. Sullivan, legal documents requiring immediate attention. He tried to dismiss me, said he was in a meeting. I said this couldn't wait. Rebecca's voice carried satisfaction. The satisfaction of someone who loved her job. I handed him the envelope in front of everyone. He opened it right there, started reading. His face went red, then white, then red again. What did he say? Nothing at first, just stood there, reading, his colleagues getting uncomfortable, Vivian looking terrified, everyone sensing something major was happening, but not knowing what. Then he said, you can't do this, very quiet, very controlled, but you could hear the rage underneath. What did you say? I said, she already did. You've been served. You have 30 days to respond. I suggest you get a lawyer, a good one. You're going to need it. Grace felt a surge of something fierce. Pride, vindication, power. What happened next? He tried to follow me out, started yelling, asking where you were, saying this was ridiculous, that you were pregnant and hormonal and not thinking clearly, that he'd made mistakes but divorce was extreme, that you needed to be reasonable. I stopped, turned around, and I said very clearly, very calmly, your wife is being perfectly reasonable. You committed adultery. You gave her jewelry to your mistress. You humiliated her publicly. You've been emotionally abusive throughout her pregnancy. She's done, and she's going to take half of everything you own. See you in court. Grace laughed, actually laughed, for the first time in weeks. His colleagues heard everything? Every word, as did Vivian, who, by the way, looked like she wanted to disappear into the floor. I don't think she realized he was actually married until that moment, or at least didn't realize his wife was pregnant, or didn't realize the relationship was real enough for divorce papers. Good. It gets better. I ran into Bobby Sullivan in the elevator. He works in the same building. Different floor. Cardiology. He said, did you just serve my brother? I said, yes. He said, good. He deserves it. Tell Grace I meant what I said. I'll testify. After Rebecca hung up, Grace sat with the news. Marcus had been served. Her marriage was officially over. Not emotionally. That had ended weeks ago, months ago, maybe the day she married him. But legally, officially, publicly, she was getting divorced. Her phone rang, Marcus. She let it go to voicemail. He called again, again, 12 times in 10 minutes. Beth grabbed the phone. Stop answering. Let him spiral. Rebecca said to save all messages. They're evidence. Grace listened to the voicemails later, each one a document of his deterioration. Message 1, Brandmoam. Grace, what the hell? You can't just divorce me. We're having a baby. We need to talk about this. Call me back. Message 2. This is insane. You're being completely unreasonable. You're pregnant. You're not thinking clearly. We can work this out. Message 3. I made mistakes. I know that. But divorce, that's extreme. Think about our daughter. She needs both parents. Message 4. You're really going to do this? Publicly humiliate me? I have a reputation, a career. You're going to ruin that because you're angry? Message 5. Fine. You want to play hardball? I'll destroy you in court. I'll prove you're unfit, unstable. No judge will give you full custody. Messages 6 through 12 devolved into threats and insults and desperation and rage. Grace saved them all, forwarded them to Rebecca, evidence of his true character. That night, Grace couldn't sleep. The baby was restless, kicking, moving, preparing for birth in 8 weeks. 8 weeks until Grace met her daughter, until everything changed again, until she became someone's mother, someone's entire world. She hoped she was ready, hoped she was strong enough, brave enough, good enough. Her phone buzzed, text from Ethan, 11 at night. Saw the news. Marcus was served today. How are you holding up? She typed, okay, scared, relieved, all of it. That's normal. Divorce is hard even when it's right. Did you ever get married? After us? Long pause. She immediately regretted asking. Too personal. Too much. No, dated. Nothing serious. Work consumed me. Building the company, then running it, then expanding it. I told myself I was too busy. But really, I think I was just never ready to risk it again. Risk what? Loving someone, losing them. That whole thing we did where we broke each other's hearts because the timing was wrong. Grace's chest tightened. Ethan, I'm not saying this to make you uncomfortable or to put pressure on you. I just want you to know you weren't the only one who got hurt. You weren't the only one who wondered what if. And you're not the only one who's glad we're back in each other's lives. Even like this, even with everything that's happening. She didn't know what to say, so she said nothing. Just sat with his words, his honesty, his vulnerability. Get some sleep, he typed. You need rest. Big day tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow you keep fighting, keep building your new life, keep being the person your daughter needs you to be. Grace put her phone down, placed both hands on her belly, on her daughter, on the future they were building together. Your mom is doing her best, she whispered. I hope that's enough. The baby kicked, strong, healthy, alive. It would be enough. It had to be. Grace went into labor at 3 in the morning. 39 weeks exactly. Right on schedule. Like her daughter knew the divorce papers were filed and it was safe to enter the world now. Water breaking, sudden, dramatic, soaking through Beth's guest bed. Beth, wake up. It's time. Beth bolted upright, hair everywhere, eyes wild. Oh God, okay. Hospital, car, bag. Where's the bag? By the door, where it's been for 2 weeks. They timed contractions in the car, 5 minutes apart, 4 minutes, 3 minutes. The baby was coming fast. Cedars Sinai Medical Center, best maternity ward in Los Angeles. Grace had pre-registered, had toured the facilities, had met the nurses, everything planned, everything prepared. Because if she couldn't control her marriage or her husband or the fact that she was about to be a single mother, at least she could control the logistics. Dr. Reynolds waited at the hospital, already there for another delivery. Lucky timing. Grace, right on time, literally. Let's have this baby. They called people. The list Grace had made weeks ago, Rebecca Foster, for legal protection. The court order specified Marcus could only visit after the birth, not during, for Grace's safety and peace of mind. Rebecca needed to be present to enforce it. Helena Winters, for emotional support, for the reminder that Grace had work waiting, a future beyond single motherhood and divorce. Bobby Sullivan. He'd asked to be notified, asked to be there. The only member of the Sullivan family who deserved to meet this baby. They didn't call Marcus. That was for later. After the birth, per court order, labor was long, 12 hours, painful, exhausting, beautiful. Beth held her hand through every contraction. You're amazing. You're so strong. You can do this. Dr. Reynolds coached. Push, Grace. Good. Again. That's it. You're doing great. At noon, Bobby appeared, still in his scrubs from the cardiology floor. Off duty, but there anyway. I hope it's okay I came, Grace cried, nodded, couldn't speak through the contraction. It's more than okay, Beth said. Thank you for being here. The hours blurred, pain and pressure and the animal reality of birth, the way nothing else matters except getting through the next contraction, the next push, the next breath, 7 centimeters, 8, 9, 10. Okay, Grace. Next contraction, push. She pushed, screamed, pushed again, her body doing what it was designed to do. What women had done for millennia, the most natural and most extraordinary thing in the world. I can see the head. One more push. One more. Grace pushed with everything she had, every ounce of strength, every bit of determination, every piece of love for this baby she hadn't met yet, but already knew completely. Born at 3:47 in the afternoon. 7 pounds, 3 ounces, 20 inches long. Perfect. Tiny, loud, furious at being evicted from her warm, safe home. They placed her on Grace's chest, skin to skin, warm, wet, screaming. Hi, baby girl. Hi, I'm your mama. I've got you. You're safe. You're so safe. The baby quieted, opened her eyes, dark blue, unfocused, but looking, seeing, meeting her mother for the first time. Grace cried, finally, fully cried. Relief, love. Overwhelming, consuming, all-encompassing love that rewrote everything she thought she knew about her capacity to feel. Lily, your name is Lily. Lily Beth Sullivan. Middle name after Beth. Last name Sullivan for now. Grace could change it later if she wanted. When the divorce was final, when she reclaimed her maiden name. She's perfect, Beth whispered. Crying too. Gracie, she's perfect. Bobby approached quietly, looked at his niece, the niece his brother didn't want, didn't deserve, would barely know. Welcome to the world, Lily. You have no idea how loved you are. 2 hours later, Marcus arrived. Rebecca met him in the hallway, enforced the 10-minute visitation limit the court had ordered. He entered the hospital room. Awkward, uncomfortable, dressed for work, like he'd left a meeting to be here. Grace held Lily closer, protective, fierce. Can I see her? 10 minutes. He approached, looked down at the baby, his daughter, his face unreadable. She's small. She's perfect. He reached out. Grace let him touch Lily's hand, the baby's tiny fingers wrapping around his one finger. Instinct, not recognition. Marcus looked at Grace, something in his expression. Regret? Sadness? She couldn't tell. Didn't care. I'm sorry, he said quietly, for everything. You should be. Can we? No, we can't. You made your choice. I made mine. Your daughter deserves better than a father who didn't want her, who resented her existence, who cheated throughout her mother's entire pregnancy. Grace, your 10 minutes are up. Rebecca. Rebecca appeared in the doorway. Professional, firm. Time to go, Mr. Sullivan. You can schedule your next supervised visit through the court. Marcus left, without arguing, without fighting, just walked out of his daughter's life as easily as he'd walked into it. Bobby stayed, held Lily while Grace slept. 2 hours of exhausted, deep, healing sleep. When Grace woke, Beth was holding Lily, rocking her, singing softly, and Bobby sat in the chair by the window, keeping watch. You have a family, Beth said. Maybe not the one you planned, but you have us. And we have you. And Lily has all of us. Grace looked at her daughter, this tiny human who'd changed everything, who'd broken apart her life and rebuilt it into something better, harder, but better. Thank you, she whispered. To Beth, to Bobby, to the universe, to whatever force had gotten her through the last 2 months. That night, Grace nursed Lily for the first time, the baby latching immediately. Instinct and biology and the ancient bond between mother and child. Outside the hospital window, Los Angeles glittered. Lights, life, the world continuing. Inside, a new family was born. Imperfect, unconventional. But theirs. 6 months later, Grace's apartment in Santa Monica was small, 2 bedrooms, second floor, balcony overlooking the courtyard, ocean breeze through open windows, eucalyptus trees visible, birds singing. Not the Spanish colonial in Brentwood, not 5 bedrooms and marble countertops in a pool she never used, but home. Finally, truly home. Lily woke at 6. Routine now. Grace fed her in the rocking chair they'd bought at a second-hand store. Golden morning light streaming through sheer curtains. 6 months old. Chubby cheeks, bright eyes. One tooth visible when she smiled. Learning to sit up. Babbling constantly. The center of Grace's universe. "Good morning, sunshine. Did you sleep well?" Lily gurgled, smiled. Reached for Grace's face with sticky baby hands. The divorce had been finalized 3 months ago, faster than expected. Marcus hadn't fought as hard as Rebecca predicted. His lawyer had advised him to settle, to avoid a trial where his affair and emotional abuse would be publicly documented. The settlement was fair, more than fair. House sold, Grace got half, $2.1 million, invested carefully on the advice of Margaret Patterson, the financial advisor Rebecca recommended. Spousal support, $5,000 monthly for 3 years, until Grace could rebuild her career fully. Child support, $3,000 monthly until Lily turned 18. Marcus's retirement accounts, split 50-50, his precious investment portfolio, split 50-50. Everything he tried to keep separate and hidden, split 50-50. Full custody to Grace. Marcus got supervised visitation every other Sunday, 2 hours, at a family center, with a social worker present. He showed up maybe once a month, sometimes less. Vivian had left him 2 months ago. Apparently, dating a cheater loses its appeal when you realize he'll cheat on you too. Diane Sullivan had tried to fight the settlement, had hired lawyers, had claimed Grace was an unfit mother, had demanded grandparents' rights. Rebecca had destroyed every argument. The judge had sided with Grace completely, had even restricted Diane's visitation. No unsupervised contact, no overnight visits. Protection for Lily from a grandmother who valued reputation over relationships. Marcus's trust fund, voided. The divorce before the 20-year mark triggered the clause. $20 million gone. Diane blamed Grace. Naturally, everything was Grace's fault in Diane's world. Grace didn't care. She had everything she needed. Her daughter, her freedom, her financial security, her self-respect. She was back at work, part-time, 3 days a week. Helena had been true to her word. Director of Development, leading the expansion of the Maternal Health Initiative. Ethan's $10 million donation had changed everything. 5 cities now, 17 lives saved this year. Next year, they projected 25. The year after, 40. Exponential growth. Real impact. Work that mattered. Grace was good at her work, had forgotten how good. How much she loved the challenge, the strategy, the satisfaction of securing funding and building programs and saving lives. Beth watched Lily on Grace's work days, an arrangement that worked for everyone. Beth's graphic design business was freelance, flexible, and she loved Lily like her own. The apartment was small but perfect. Lily's nursery painted soft yellow, just like the one in Brentwood. But this one felt different, felt safe, felt like theirs. Grace had built a life, not the life she'd planned, not the life she'd imagined when she'd married Marcus, but a good life, an honest life, a life built on truth instead of performance. Her phone buzzed. Text from Ethan. "Coffee this morning? If you were free?" They'd been doing this. Coffee. Every few weeks, catching up, talking about the foundation, about life, about everything and nothing. Not dating, not yet. Grace wasn't ready. Might never be ready. The divorce had left scars. Marcus had left scars. The narcissistic abuse and the gaslighting and the constant criticism had damaged something fundamental. But slowly, carefully, Grace was healing. Therapy with Kate Marshall helped. Twice a week at first, now once. Processing the trauma. Rebuilding her sense of self. Learning to trust her own judgment again. Ethan was patient, never pushed, Never demanded, just offered friendship, support. The reminder that not all men were Marcus. Grace typed back, "Sure, 10? The usual place? Perfect. See you then." The usual place was a coffee shop in Santa Monica, walking distance from Grace's apartment. She could bring Lily. They had a play area. High chairs. The kind of family-friendly place Grace had learned to appreciate. She dressed, casual, jeans, nursing-friendly top, comfortable shoes. No more designer clothes, no more performance of perfection. Just real life with a 6-month-old. Lily in the stroller, diaper bag packed. They walked. Ocean breeze, morning sun, the simple pleasure of movement in fresh air. Ethan waited at their usual table. He stood when he saw them, pulled out Grace's chair, took Lily from the stroller with practiced ease. "Hi, Lilybug, look at you, getting so big." Lily squealed, grabbed his nose, laughed when he made a silly face. "She loves you," Grace said. "The feeling is mutual." They ordered coffee for Grace, oat milk latte, vanilla, her favorite, he remembered. Lily sat in the high chair, Cheerios scattered on the tray. She picked them up one by one, practicing fine motor skills, everything a learning experience at 6 months. "How's work?" Ethan asked. "Good, really good. We just secured funding for the Chicago expansion. 3 new clinics, projected to save 5 additional lives per year." "That's incredible." "Your donation made it possible. The seed money gave us credibility. Other donors followed. Foundations, grants, it's growing exponentially." "I knew it would. You're brilliant at this work." Grace smiled, accepted the compliment, still learning how to do that, how to accept praise without dismissing it, without making herself smaller. "How about you? How's the company?" "Busy. We're developing new software for hospital systems, trying to reduce medical errors through better data management. It's complicated, technical, but important." They talked about work, about Lily, about life. Easy conversation. The kind that comes from years of history and genuine respect. Lily started fussing, tired, ready for her morning nap. "I should get her home," Grace said. "Can I walk with you?" "Sure." They walked, Ethan pushing the stroller, Grace beside him, looking like a family to anyone who didn't know better. At Grace's building, they stopped. "Grace," Ethan said, hesitant, careful. "I need to ask you something, and I want you to know there's no pressure, no expectation. I just need to say it." "Okay. Is there any chance for us?" "Not now. I know you're not ready. Maybe not for years, maybe never. But someday, could there be an us again?" Grace looked at him. This man who'd loved her when she was young and scared and unsure of everything. Who'd let her go when she'd demanded more than he could give. Who'd built an empire while she'd built a life with the wrong person. Who'd showed up at exactly the right moment with $10 million in genuine kindness. "Maybe," she said honestly. "Someday, when I'm ready, when I'm fully me again, when I trust myself enough to trust someone else. I can wait. You've been waiting 5 years. What's a little longer? You're worth waiting for, Grace. You always were." He leaned down, kissed Lily's forehead, gentle, paternal, the gesture of a man who could love someone else's child. Then he looked at Grace, gray eyes full of patience and hope, and something that looked like love, but might just be the memory of love. "Call me if you need anything. I mean that." "I know." He walked away, hands in pockets, confident, successful, available. Grace carried Lily upstairs, fed her, put her down for a nap, watched her sleep. This tiny human who'd changed everything, who'd broken apart a toxic marriage and forced Grace to become someone stronger, someone better, someone capable of protecting both of them. Grace's phone buzzed. Email from Helena. "Grace, the board wants to make you associate director, full-time when you're ready, 50% raise. You've earned this. Let me know." Associate director. Her old position had been director level, but this was even higher. Leadership, strategy, impact at scale. Another email from Kate Marshall, her therapist. "Grace, I'm so proud of your progress. You've come so far in 6 months, from victim to survivor to someone genuinely thriving. That's not common, that's not easy. That's you doing the hard work. Keep it up. Grace sat on her balcony, evening now, Lily asleep inside, monitor beside her voice. She could hear every breath, every movement, technology and instinct keeping her daughter safe. She looked out at Santa Monica, at the life she'd built from the ashes of her marriage, at the future she was creating one day at a time. Not perfect, not easy. Single motherhood was exhausting. Divorce was traumatic. Rebuilding took time and therapy and more strength than she'd known she had. But it was hers, honest and real and earned through surviving something that could have destroyed her. She pulled out her phone, opened her notes app, the one where she had documented Marcus's abuse, the list that had helped Rebecca build their case. She added one final entry. Today, 6 months post-divorce, I'm happy, actually genuinely happy, not performing happiness, not faking it, not surviving, thriving. I have my daughter, my career, my freedom, my self-respect. I have a future that's mine to shape. Marcus took a lot from me, but he didn't take this. He couldn't take this because this strength was always mine. I just forgot, but I remember now. She saved it, closed the app. Lily cried, awake from her nap. Grace went inside, picked her up, changed her diaper. Made silly faces until she laughed. You know what, baby girl? Your mom did it. Your mom survived. And more than that, your mom is thriving, building a life worth living, building a life you can be proud of. Lily grabbed Grace's hair, pulled, laughed when Grace pretended it hurt. Yeah, you're right. Less talk, more play. Come on, let's read books. They sat on the floor, board books scattered around them. Grace read with different voices for each character. Lily laughed and clapped and tried to eat the pages. Outside the sun set, pink and orange and gold. Another day ending, another day survived, another day of building something better. Grace looked around her small apartment, at the second-hand furniture and the thrift store finds and the baby toys everywhere, at the life that didn't look like anything she'd planned but felt better than anything she'd imagined. This was success, not the big house or the designer clothes or the husband who looked good on paper. This, Lily laughing, work that mattered, freedom to choose, peace that came from truth instead of performance. Marcus had taken her bracelet, her house, 2 years of her life, her trust, her innocence about love and marriage. But he hadn't taken her strength, hadn't taken her career, hadn't taken her capacity to love or fight or rebuild. She'd taken those back herself, and in doing so, she'd discovered something Marcus had tried to destroy, but never could. Her worth wasn't determined by him. Never had been. Never would be. She was Grace Sullivan, 29 years old, single mother, survivor of narcissistic abuse, director at a nonprofit saving lives, woman supporting other women, example of midlife transformation and financial independence. She was enough, more than enough, and her daughter would grow up knowing that, knowing her mother chose strength over comfort, dignity over staying, truth over lies. Lily yawned, rubbed her eyes, ready for bed. Grace nursed her, rocked her, sang softly, the lullaby her own mother had sung, passed down through generations of women who survived, who endured, who thrived despite everything trying to break them. Good night, baby girl. Mama loves you, always. Lily's eyes drooped, closed, breathing deep and even, safe, loved, protected. Grace placed her in the crib, watched her sleep. This perfect, innocent life who deserved everything good the world had to offer. I'll make sure you have it, Grace whispered. Whatever it takes, I promise. She turned off the light, left the door cracked, monitor on. In the living room, she poured tea, sat on her second-hand couch, looked at her phone. Text from Ethan. Thanks for coffee today. Lily gets more adorable every time I see her. So does her mom. Good night, Grace. She smiled, typed back. Good night, Ethan. Not ready for more, but grateful for what was, for friendship, for support, for the possibility that someday when she was whole again, there might be room for love. Real love. Honest love. The kind built on mutual respect and genuine partnership. Not yet, but someday. For now, this was enough. Lily sleeping peacefully, work she loved, friends who supported her, financial security, freedom. This was everything. Grace's phone buzzed one more time. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her. Hello? Grace Sullivan? A woman's voice. Kind. Warm. Yes? This is Amanda Rodriguez. I'm a producer for a documentary about narcissistic abuse survivors. I saw your story, the viral video, the divorce. I know you've been getting media requests, and I know you've said no to all of them. I'm not interested in, I'm not asking you to tell your story. I'm asking if you'd be willing to help tell other women's stories. We're interviewing survivors, creating a resource, education, support, helping women recognize the signs, find help, leave safely. Grace paused, considered. I don't want to be the face of anything. You don't have to be, but you have expertise. You survived, you got out, you rebuilt. That knowledge could help save other women, could help them recognize what you went through, could give them hope that there's life after abuse. Can I think about it? Of course, take your time. Here's my number. Call me if you're interested. After she hung up, Grace sat with the possibility. Her story helping others. Her pain serving a purpose beyond just surviving it. Maybe, eventually, when she was ready. For now, she had enough to focus on. Lily, work, healing, building. But someday, maybe someday she'd be ready to turn her survival into service. Her trauma into teaching. Her story into a lifeline for women still trapped in what she'd escaped. Not today, but someday. Grace finished her tea, checked on Lily one more time. Still sleeping. Perfect. Safe. She got ready for bed, washed her face, brushed her teeth, changed into comfortable pajamas. No one to impress. No one to perform for. Just herself, finally. Blessedly herself in bed. She set her alarm. Morning would come early. Lily would wake at 6. Work emails would need answering. Life would continue in its beautiful, exhausting, wonderful way. But tonight, Grace Sullivan went to sleep in her small apartment with her sleeping baby and her hard-won peace and felt something she hadn't felt in years. Grateful, not for what she'd survived, but for what she'd become in surviving it. Strong, independent, whole. And tomorrow she'd wake up and do it all again, one day at a time, one moment at a time, one choice at a time, building a life worth living for herself, for Lily, for every woman who'd ever had to choose between staying comfortable and becoming free. She chose free. Every single day, she chose free, and that made all the difference.